So from your first winning ad to running it for like 3-4 months, like consistently, which is why we always, in a lot of the promotional material, we say like all you need is that one winner. So from that like one winner, like doing 100K weeks, what's been your biggest month so far?
Last 4 weeks have all been over $100,000.
450,000 in a month is like, like crazy. Like that's well above most high-paying professional careers, and you're doing that like in a month, which is insane.
It was by far the best course I've ever done, just the way it was laid out. You've got 2 or 3 minute videos just sort of taking you through each step by step. So you just follow the video, set it up. You just got to push through it and keep at it, because if you get to the other side, it is life-changing.
Yeah, Rich, man, it's awesome finally being able to chat with you, because you've been sending through your results and stuff through Instagram, and just seeing your massive success it's been awesome to see when you first sent your first success screenshots to like your biggest days and biggest weeks. It's been awesome.
Yeah, it's funny because I was looking back at the messages the other day, and it was kind of at the start, it was your sort of first $500 day or something, and it doesn't seem very long ago, and now it's kind of, when you look at those figures, you're sort of thinking. But I don't know, it was exciting at the time. And, hopefully I'll be sending some more bigger ones in the future.
Exactly. Well, I mean, at the end of the day, all the little wins lead you to the bigger wins, which you've had. But before we jump into that, do you want to just, because we've talked quite some time through Instagram, but do you want to just tell me a little bit about your story? Like, where you're from, like how you sort of progressed into the online space?
Yeah, no problem. So, my name's Rich. I'm 44 years old. I live in the UK, in the northwest, in the Lake District. So over the years, I've always sort of been quite entrepreneurial, but I have kind of worked for places as well, as sort of doing 2 things at the same time, trying to get stuff going. So about 15 years, I set up a job paper, which is still going. It's like a local job paper, but it was quite good because it got you a bit more money than my job was getting, but it was never sort of going to make you rich, or it gave me a bit of money to sort of try things. So over the sort of, obviously, I've been interested in internet stuff because I just like the freedom aspect of it and the potential of it. Now I did do a bit on Facebook about 5 years ago or something. I started on Facebook, but it was before like even the Profit Engine program came out. Yeah, I've done e-commerce. I've done a bit of that over the years, but you always kind of, you don't want to jump from thing to thing, do you? So you give it a good go, but it kind of, that never kind of stuck either. And it was just such a hassle with the sending stuff out and customer, saying, where's my order and stuff. It was like drop shipping from China type model. And so it was like when your course came out last year, because I think you described it as like I think Gary was saying it's like the wild, wild west, like Facebook used to be before they started shutting down. And I thought, yeah, I need to get on this. So yeah, and it's just, I don't know, it's just, I think it was like December time last year. I think I started launching my ads. Was the course out in September?
Yeah, so we did our first launch in September. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think I kind of followed along a bit, but I didn't have any money to put into it really, because when everything got shut down and stuff, it kind of stopped the job papers. I didn't have any money coming in really, so I kind of took a job at like a local council, just doing casual work for them and trying to build the paper back up. But yeah, so I got it in September. Just kind of set stuff up really, and I think I started around December time, just at like I thought I'd try and put £100 a day into ads and see how that goes. So, and it kind of, I went in on weight loss, which might have been a bit daft because it's quite competitive in it. But I thought, well, I've got, I sort of, the training was so good, and the script that you outlined was so good that you kind of just slotting bits in and trying different bits. And I can't remember the timeline of it, but it was quite quickly. I'd make a few sales here and there and end up a bit in profit, and then get my money from ClickBank and put it back in, and I just kept every week, putting it back in, not not spending any of it, basically, just trying to build it up. And I got to the sort of stage where I'd passed by miles what I was doing years ago with the
other business models.
battery. And I thought, well, because I kind of stopped at that level before, and I thought, I'm just going to keep pushing this. And because it seemed like a while until I got a true winner, but I was doing enough off the sort of, I had sort of, I don't know if you'd call them mini winners or something, where you kind of, some days you'd make loads of them, and other days you'd kind of be breaking even or even lose a little bit, but you sort of, overall, you're still making enough. So I'd have like 2 or 3 campaigns going. One would be doing really well one day, and the next would be doing really well the other day, and kind of just build it up. But then in like April, I think it was, just back, I'd always be testing and stuff. I just hit one that seemed to change, it just acted differently, and just sort of skyrocketed from there, really. So
yeah, for sure. Do you want to run us through, because you said you started with limited budget and you were just putting in whatever you could go ahead and put in. Do you want to run us through how you went through that? Because I know for a lot of people it can be daunting to spend money to, initially to start making money, because you have to obviously do ad spend. Do you want to run us through how you sort of strategized a plan to, spend as little as you could to start seeing results?
Yeah, well, I didn't. Yes, I was on a limited budget, and I thought, well, I can probably stretch to £100 a day if I stick to that. But if things were going well, I'd try and if I was having a good day, I'd try and stick a bit more in. But I didn't have any. I can't get any credit cards or anything, because I've had bad credit history in the past. So that wasn't like an option to get any credit or anything. So I knew I just had to kind of manage the budget, and so I just put in what I could, basically. And you get to like Tuesday night, and you'd have like 1p left in the bank or something. But if your ads are going well, you'd sort of be putting every penny into it, because you know that you're getting more out of the back end of it. So, and then your money would come in on a Wednesday from ClickBank, and but it'd be slightly more than last week, so you could step up your budget to maybe 150 a day and 200 a day, and just sort of built it up from there, really. The thought of spending even 1,000 a day, it was sort of out of your comfort zone. But now it's just weird how you adapt to it. You just keep putting more back in, and even now I just keep pushing it to see how much I can get, to see how keep put more in the next week, kind of thing.
Yeah. So speaking of that, so starting from where you started, where it was daunting, to you were putting on all your money, basically like $100 down to your last like cents. Where have you actually scaled up to now? Like, what's been your biggest day and even your biggest week?
Biggest week was a week before last, $128,000. And my biggest day was actually 2 days ago, which was just over $25,000, and it was like $10,000 profit on that. So, $12,000. I get mixed up because it's pounds and dollars, but it's £10,000 profit that day, or $12,000. So, but yeah, that was it's just, I don't know, I'm continually testing, just trying to build it up and try and beat what I've done before, really.
That's insane. That's crazy. So from going from like spending your last cents testing ads and running ads to making £10,000, 12,000, 15,000, whatever USD, how did that feel? How did that transition feel? Like when you hit your biggest day like 2 days ago, how did that feel?
I don't know. It's just like you sort of refreshing your Click Magic and ClickBank every half an hour, and it's just going up and up and up, and you're thinking it just kind of holds and holds. So you put your budget up a bit more, and it keeps going up, and you just kind of, but because it ticks over at 8 in the morning, so you sort of go to bed at, I don't know, midnight or whatever, and you're going to be on for a good day, but then you sort of make another $8,000 while you're asleep, wake up in the morning just before 8 to check it, and you're like, whoa. And it's just exciting every time, but and you kind of get over that and get onto the next day, and you think, right, I've got to try and beat that now. And
it becomes like yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're sending me screenshots, and every screenshot was like you just keep hitting a bigger day, which is like, and it was like every couple of days as well. Like, do you want to run us through when you you were limited budget. So every time you would make money, you would then, get it paid from ClickBank, reinvest it. Do you want to run us through the timeline? Because a lot of people don't actually realize how quick you can actually scale up, even with like on a limited budget. So when you first crack that winner with your limited, but like cash flow, do you want to run us through the stages of like how fast you got up to like a $20,000 a day?
Yeah, I mean, even back in April, I can't think what I was spending. That was when my main winner came through. I think I'd built up to, I must have been paying 3,000 or 4,000 by then a day on ads, just from what I'd built up from my sort of mini winners, if you like. So it's kind of at that point, and it just hit, spending about 3,000 a day then, 4,000 maybe. Now I'm spending sort of 10,000 easily, sometimes more if it's going well, and it's kind of, you'd never dream of spending that. And you look at the figures of what you spend in a year or what you're making a year, and it's like crazy, there's restaurant chains and stuff that are making sort of less turnover. We live in a very tourist area, and you're looking at some of the big restaurants, and you think they're doing kind of less turnover, but they've got all the hassle of the staff and customers, and it's
exactly.
It's just like me on my computer doing it. I tend to do a couple of ads. I try and do an ad, probably 3 or 4 ads a week now, just to keep testing new hooks and new stuff. And but yeah, once you get that one winner, you kind of feel like you just sat there doing nothing, because you're just tweaking your budget up, and you're thinking, well, you might test an ad against it, but it doesn't come close to it. So you kind of don't need to bother, And I was on holiday at the start of July, and that was when it was, I was kind of making £4,000 or £5,000 a day easy, just like logging in the morning, checking a couple of things, uploading.
And that's profit, yeah? Was that profit?
Yeah, profit, yeah, just every day on holiday. And it's kind of, you're paying for your holiday in one day, messing around, with the kids and stuff, and it's a weird feeling.
Yeah, but I could imagine it's pretty life-changing, like experiencing that.
Yeah, and then because ClickBank hold back quite a bit as well, don't they? They kind of hold back your 15% or 10% or whatever, which I think is a bit annoying in a way. But then I quite like the way it's kind of, you've got money saved there, it's coming through in the net. I think they've got over £100,000 at the moment on hold now. And it's kind of, so you kind of think, well, I'd rather have the money, obviously, but then it's quite a nice sort of cushion. It's that, it's coming if anything did sort of go off the boil a bit, at least you've still got plenty of money that's due to come into you.
Exactly.
Over the next couple of months.
How many hours are you putting in a week now to be making that sort of money?
It sounds quite bad, really, because you're not putting in many hours at all. My winning ad, I think that's kind of might be coming to a bit of an end now, but I've kind of transitioned across, because with us, I probably went about it the wrong way, because I started with weight loss. You try that many scripts and that many hooks and everything just to get to you're sort of fine tuning it all the time, because it's so much more competitive. But then I thought, well, I'll try a script on prostate, and I'll try a script on dental, and you kind of base the script that I'd already built up. So there's a sort of winning script, so I base it on that, just change a few things out, and it just seemed, because it was during this transition that I had my best day the other day, because I thought, well, I'll just try this script I've got for weight loss, swap it out, put dental in, do ProDentim or whatever the product was. So I'd been testing it at like 500 quid a day, and it was doing all right. So I just scaled it up at ProDentim that day. I don't know, it was like my first dental video, basically, just like doubling your money. But maybe because I don't know if it's because the weight loss, you have to fine tune it so much that by the end you've got such a good video that if you put that into something else, it kind of, it's
and that's the benefit of the business model, is like, once you have scripts and you can leverage all the scripts and stuff we give you, it's just about making slight changes. Like you just said, like you basically ran the same script for weight loss that you ran for dental, and what the first one was a winner, basically.
The first dental ad, doubling the money. I think it sort of dived a bit yesterday, because I think it's got too many funny funny images in of tooth decay and stuff. So I've
Yeah.
got to change that out. So I've shut them down. But I do prostate one as well. Did new script on prostate, but the same script that I was using on my weight loss. We swapped out the prostate, weight loss for prostate. That's doing double the money to yesterday. And it's just like, I think, I'm kind of at the point now where I'm thinking, well, I might just do all these other offers instead, because there's less competition. I've obviously got a script that's working all right. I'm going to do one up for a hearing offer or whatever and just test those, because it seems to be even easier to make to kind of get them going than it did with, the weight loss was a struggle, but he was still making a lot of money while you're testing it, because you kind of getting closer and closer all the time, aren't you? So you're making sales while you're testing, so you're not like, as long as you're careful, you can't really lose much money on them.
Exactly. And how did you find the process of testing? Like, how did you find the process of the business model overall? Like, creating scripts, creating different hooks, testing. How did you find that process? Like, from when you first started getting into it, knowing nothing about YouTube ads, to then testing, making money, and then so on.
The course was by far the best course I've ever done, just the way it was laid out. You've got 2 or 3 minute videos, just sort of taking you through each step by step. So you just follow the video, set it up. And it was unbelievably simple, really. I'd never done anything on YouTube before. I'd never made a video. But everything was kind of there for, if you needed the voices, you've got the access to the voice you needed. And setting the websites up, and it was just so simple to do step by step. You literally, because you'd set it all up, hadn't you? So you could send the websites across from the training straight to the
templates.
Straight to you. So you're kind of clicking a button and then your website's there, and you're just changing a couple of words out. But I've got 3 girls who are one's 22, one's 18, one's 16. So they've sort of been watching with interest as I've been making more and more money. So the 22-year-old's at uni, so she's a bit busy with the uni work at the moment. But the 18-year-old, I said, well, she was not working. I said, well, yeah, I'll send you the training. You try this. So she did it herself. She's never built a website or anything before. She kind of set it all up, did the script and everything. She showed me the script, and I sort of, made a couple of tweaks on it and just said, try that. So she set the video, and I said to try pro denting, because that seemed to be doing quite well at the time. So she set it up. She'd sold quite a few little bits of stuff she had to get a bit of money for ads. So she started on £100 a day, and she's had a couple of $500 days, $600 days, and she's kind of getting the money in now from ClickBank. She only started 2 or 3 weeks ago, so
that's
she's getting these big checks for 2,000. I think she got 2,800 or something last week that paid into a bank account, and now she's sort of desperately trying not to spend it on rubbish and put it back into ads. But yeah, so it shows how easy it is. She kind of just got on with it, did it. A week or so it took her to go through it all at a very slow pace. She's it's been good. I probably shouldn't tell you that, 'cause she's not a proper member of
That's fine, bro. That's fine. No, that's amazing. No, I'm all about paying it forward and stuff, which is why it's awesome to jump on these calls. But hearing that story is inspiring as well, because you've had success, and you're getting your younger daughter to do it as well, which is that's amazing. I if I had kids, I'd be getting them to do this 100%.
Yeah,
working at a restaurant or something.
Yeah, you got your brother on, didn't you?
Yeah, exactly. I got my brother on, my auntie's even doing it, making around $500 a day as well. So yeah, why not? I think it's the best way to make money. So I try to get everyone onto it. Everyone I know, my friends, family, and stuff.
Well, that's it. You don't sort of want to do it for them, but you don't need to with the training, because it's kind of laid out in such a way that you wouldn't be able to not follow it. Really, it's just kind of putting in, even if you're just doing half an hour a day, just to get the groundwork laid. And because once you got your website and everything set up, it's just, and once you got a couple of scripts, it just goes so much faster from there, because you've kind of if you put a bit of time into a couple of decent scripts and a bit of time into your sort of first video, so the whole thing's like got a nice flow to it and everything. And I like to sort of do them so they're moving quite quickly. You've not got scenes on too long. It's kind of keeping the interest. But as long as you've done that, you just kind of change in the first 5 or 10 seconds out of the video. It's just so quick, you know. I can knock out 2 or 3 videos in the morning. The slowest part is waiting for them to upload to YouTube so you can get your ads sort of on them. But it's
a crazy journey, definitely. Yeah. So how many videos did it take you to find your first winner?
It was probably quite quick within the first 5 or 10 videos, and that was in weight loss as well. But I think because I had a kind of winning vid, but I didn't realise because I was promoting something on MaxWeb, and then Exipure came out, and I just thought, well, I'll change a couple of reasons why, the sort of the main reasons of whatever, and swapped to Exipure, and then it just took off the same bid I had. So, but yeah, it's just kind of tweaking and testing, and then because you find one that's doing really well, and you kind of trying to test it to beat it all the time, and probably should have just gone with that in the first place. But because it seems to do better than all the others. But I suppose if you don't keep testing, you don't find that, because that one that popped really just out of the gate, it was like just performing differently to all the other videos. It was just like it just flew from day one, and it was kind of, I'm still running the ad now, and that's 4.5 months later or something, so it's still going.
That's amazing.
It's probably only the last week or so I've started turning the budget down on it, because I was trying to put loads, I'm always trying to put more and more in to try and get the sort of figures up. And then it was like last week, I think, I sort of looked at the figures and thought, I'm not making the profit I was. I'm just kind of spending more and making the same profit. So that's when I've kind of decided to cut back a bit on the weight loss and try these other, the dental and the prostate or whatever, just to keep the profit up. And that's sort of taking me down another route now. And I'm seeing how much I'm making on the prostate and the dental. So it's kind of funny. But yeah, 4 months that advert's been going, making profit. There's probably been one day where it hasn't made profit in that time, and it was just kind of keep feeding it.
And you've been doing, like, I saw on your screenshot you sent me, you were doing like consistent over like $100,000 weeks. So, and that's all from from your first winning ad to running it for like 3-4 months, like consistently, which is why we always, in a lot of the promotional material, we say like all you need is that one winner. So from that, like one winner, like doing 100K weeks, what's been your biggest month so far?
Last 4 weeks have all been over $100,000.
450,000 in a month is like crazy. Like that's well above most, high paying professional careers, and you're doing that like in a month, which is insane for everyone watching. Like to be able to see that, you're looking at your phone right now and you can see that you've just made like 450,000 in a month, which is like insane.
Well, it's not really got going yet today, because it starts at 8 in the morning here, and it's 9 now, and a lot of my ads are on day parting to start, at 1 in the afternoon anyway. So, yeah, I mean, it's crazy, and you kind of got this money, and because I'm still putting as much as I can back in, but then I like to, sort of obviously building some up in the background to, that you're saving up and stuff. And there's a couple of times, because I'm quite into cars, a couple of times I've nearly gone and got one, but then I've kind of thought, well, I'll save it. So I want, you want to keep building up. So you see your other students doing sort of, what is it, 2 million a year or something. There's one doing, is there? And
we have, I think our top student now is doing like $1 million every 2 weeks.
Right, yeah. So you think, well, I won't buy a car. I want to keep going and try and get, to that level, because then you could buy 2 cars in a week if you wanted to at that point, and you kind of, and then my wife started going on about, redoing the house. So she's like, no, I want to spend it on ads, not on
exactly
wardrobes.
keep reinvesting it. And did you ever think it was possible to make that sort of money in a month or even a day?
Well, I knew it was possible because I followed you guys for a while. Followed Gary and Robin, and I knew you did well on Facebook. And then that's obviously, I saw you did promo for the last thing, so I knew it was possible, but I didn't think it would be possible for me because I've kind of, dabbled in this kind of thing for a while, on and off, and kind of never hit the levels of success that people were doing. So it's kind of weird now to find myself in this situation where I'm getting interviewed by you, kind of because I have done it, and it's yeah, and hopefully, I'll keep doing better and better. So it's kind of, it is strange, and it is, because if I thought, 6 months ago I'd be spending 10 grand a day on ads, you wouldn't believe it, but it certainly wouldn't be in my comfort zone at the stage. When I was sort of spending £100 a day, you kind of feeling bad if you try and bump it up to 200, but now it's kind of, you just kind of push to the next level.
It's been a crazy 6 months, like for me and for you especially. Like, what would you say to yourself back then? Because you said like it's like unbelievable that you could spend like 10 grand in a day. So like, imagine yourself first during the course. You said you struggled with other business models and stuff. What would some words of advice you'd give yourself just joining the course and just starting testing some videos?
I think every day you've just got to do something that moves you sort of in the right direction. So some days you wake up and you think, I can't be bothered. But if you just do like 10 minutes, even, it'll take you that to set up a website or change a few things on a landing page. And I don't know, somehow when you kind of do that, you feel like doing a bit more anyway once you get into it, don't you? But it's just kind of taking action, really. I mean, you say it in the trade, you've got the mindset part on the training, haven't you, where you sort of talking about the consciousness of it, and then there's the kind of, stay laser focused and don't give up, because you will have, there is the odd day, especially at the start, where you kind of feel like a couple of ads aren't working, but you just got to push through it, and you just keep at it, because if you get to the other side, it is life changing.
Yeah, I could imagine, and it does come with the persistence and consistency to do it. But as you even said, like when you first started, you mentioned how it's not hard to it's hard to sort of lose money if you keep your ads in check. So do you want to run us through that? Because you first started launching your ads and you're making like sales like straight off the bat. So do you want to discuss a little bit about that process and sort of monitoring how your ads are performing and making sure that you're not losing money in that beginning stage?
Yeah, kind of, because obviously, like at the start, when you've just got a little budget, I'd be trying to test a couple of things at 2 ads at 50 quid a day, say, and you can see quite quickly, because obviously you lay out the stats that you need to look for in the training and everything, so you can see quite quickly if one's performing better than the other. If you're paying too much for a click, you can turn it off after £20, and you can afford to lose £20 kind of because the other ads are going to pick it up anyway. So you quite quickly if an ad's not going in the right direction. You can turn it off, tweak the start of it, relaunch it with the rest of that budget for the day if you want, and see if that's getting better. And just little, I mean, once you're spending a bit more, you can afford to spend a bit more on an advert. You might inadvertently turn off one that's going to do okay, but you can tell quite quickly, can't you, that it's going to do all right, or if it's not going to do all right, just by how much you're paying for a click and how many people are clicking through off it.
I was going to say, yeah, exactly. Like, especially when you follow the metrics in the course and you're monitoring your ads, your first ads might not be that good, and you have the metrics we give, and then you just keep tweaking till you find that sweet spot. And then boom, you're like consistently, you might be making money on some ads, losing money on the others. And it's like breaking even until you sort of just optimize, trim the fat, and then boom, start scaling up.
Yeah. Well, it's like you've said before on the training, and I do the Q&As as well. You kind of just testing, if you're just testing one variable against another variable, it kind of, you're sort of moving up the ladder, aren't you? Sort of tweaking because you're just going in the right direction all the time. So it's kind of, you just, if you add something in and it improves it, then you leave it in. If you take something out and it makes it worse, then you put it back in, and you just kind of, you're always sort of honing in on the winning ad, aren't you? Because you're going in the right direction every time. And,
exactly.
It's
yeah, every variation you do, every test you do, you're just getting better and better. You're getting more ROI, more profit, and you're just working towards that direction until you hit that big winner. And in your case, the big winner, boom, you know.
yeah, yeah. But the thing is, that big winner, because it was a, you know, as I said, it's been going for 4 months, but that script could be a winner for another 2 years in other niches. It's just changing out from weight loss to prostate or weight loss to dental, but it's essentially going to be the same script that you're running. So if a winner, say if you have a winner that lasts for 4 months, which is a long time, I think, you could certainly never do that on Facebook. If you have a winner that's consistently making you thousands a day for 4 months, and then you can just swap it out to another niche, the same script, and make that a winner for another 4 months in another niche, and then another 4 months in another niche. It's kind of like you're set for life off one script, basically. Kind of just changing the thing you're promoting. It's it's when you think of it like that, it's you've not got anything to do. You kind of like, what do you do now? You can't be on holiday every day, can you? So, but yeah, it's a funny feeling. You sort of just sat there in front of your computer thinking, I've got nothing to do here.
You're just making so much money without doing anything. You're just
making all that, the money in the background. And the other thing, it's like, I don't know, it's just crazy because it's like 365 days and it's 7 days a week. Through the night, you're making money. Through the day, you're making money. It's like, I think, over the years, people get conditioned to sort of think, oh, I've got to clock in at 9 and clock out at 5 or whatever. And, that's my working day. But you've got something like this that's just working for you, sort of in the background. It's the way forward, isn't it?
Exactly. And like you said, you wake up and you've already made like 8,000 and then you don't have to do much in the day. You're just like refreshing your stats. Like, oh, I just made another 1,000. I made another 1,000.
I'm terrible for that. Yeah,
and to put that into perspective for some people, because I've had the exact same thing. It's like when you click refresh every like 5 minutes, from your perspective, give us some examples of like you press refresh, it's at like 15,000 and then you refresh it and you've made like another 1,000 in between the times you refresh it. Cause that's crazy to think that, as you said, people clock in and clock out. They wake up to an alarm to make, not $1,000 in a day. And you could just refresh your stats the next 30 minutes and you've just made $1,000.
Yeah, well, that's the crazy thing. I don't know if I go 30 minutes between refreshing on some day, because you've just got to find something to go out and do. I mean, even when I go to the gym every day, but I'm sat there in between sets, just having a quick refresh of it. And it's kind of like a couple of days ago when I had my best day, and obviously I've had quite a lot of days that are close to that anyway. But you kind of it's like you're refreshing it every 5 minutes and it's going up another couple of $100 every 5 minutes. And I think my best refresh, I remember it quite well, was about a month ago. And that was my best day at a time. But I literally put my phone down, refreshed it. And then I've kind of I think it's part of my normal movements now, just to refresh my click magic. My battery dies in about 3 hours on these phones now, but I literally refreshed it, put it down, and then 3 minutes later refreshed it and it gone up like $1,000. And I was like, you have to double check it, because you're like, well, that was a bit quick. But because it doesn't feel like real money, does it? It's like a sort of game almost, that you just like, some people are playing on the games on their phone all the time. You're just,
just pressing a button.
But it's real money.
Yeah, it's crazy. And especially because when we talk about such big numbers as well, it's like, it's crazy. Like for you, you're experiencing it, but for other people, like, as you said, you couldn't have imagined spending $1,000 a day. And now you're spending way more than that, making way more than that. And it's kind of crazy because it does become like a video game when you're making that much money. And especially the process of running the ads, like you said, you have so much free time now. It's incredible.
I'll probably just make videos for every single product on ClickBank.
Yeah, exactly. And how do you find the process? Because, it's not like a normal job where you're, as you said, clocking in and out and sort of dreading it. So how did you find the process? Like, do you find it enjoyable? Do you find it tedious? Like, how do you find the process of creating a script, creating the videos, launching the ads?
I don't find it tedious. No, I quite enjoy it, to be honest, because you always, obviously you're trying to come up with sort of new hooks and stuff. So I think it's quite exciting because you come up with a new idea, you get the vid together. I mean, a lot of the time you're just changing the first 10 seconds of the video anyway. So it's not that hard work really. You just, it's minor changes. And then I'd quite like the excitement of when you're launching, you launch that and you sort of sit back and thinking, oh, how's this one going to go? I don't know. I think it's quite exciting just coming up with a new idea and testing how it's going to go, kind of thing,
Yeah, I think of it like a video game. It's just like, because it actually is enjoyable to do the process, and it doesn't require too much like creativity and stuff. Even though if you have that, you can put it in. But I find it like enjoyable to just sit down, make some videos, make some small tweaks, launch it, and then as you said, like you wake up in the morning excited to see, which one's going to perform, which one's going to make me the most money.
Yeah, because you obviously any idea you come up with, you're kind of thinking in your head at the time, it's the best idea you've ever had, and it's gonna blow everything out of the water, sort of thing. So you kind of, I get excited launching new ads because especially when you start seeing the first stats come through, if they're looking good, you're thinking, oh, is this another one?
Yeah, and so how has that transition been in your life from scraping together like £100 to 100? What is it? You guys have pounds, like £100 to spend on ads to now making like tens of thousands of dollars a day in profit. Like, how has that transition been?
Well, it's obviously been good, but it's I don't know. It's weird because I've always sort of been a bit of a dreamer all my life, really, of things you want to do and things you want to buy and nice houses and great holidays and stuff. And now it's kind of basically becoming a reality that you can do. I couldn't afford £1 million house yet, but if you do this for another, when you look at how much you're making in profit, you're kind of thinking, well, this is possible now. And certainly things that you couldn't, little treats that you couldn't get before, on like getting a nice car or redoing the house and stuff like that you couldn't see a way of affording, you can suddenly you're sort of on the verge of just going out and buying them because it's weird, really. I'm trying to be more controlled. Because in the past, I've had success over the years, the job paper that I do that I mentioned at the start, that's done well for times. And you during the good times, I'd go out and spend it on something I probably shouldn't have. So I'm trying to be more strict this time and just put it back into the business and keep building that up, because it's not like I live a terrible life. It's kind of, I've got a house and it's just kind of building it up and looking to the future of the sort of options I have in the future with a lot more money behind me.
Yeah. Where do you see yourself in the next like 6 to 12 months? You've got you've sorted your ads out. You now you're testing different offers, making money, as you said, testing like dental, prostate, doubling your money. Like, where do you see yourself in the next 6 months?
Sat in that room next to you, Chris.
Yeah. I mean, one day we'll meet, one day for sure.
Giving you a big hug saying thanks. I don't know. I'm trying to keep an open mind at the moment, but it's kind of opening the doors to a lot more possibilities. You kind of think, if you suddenly get a lot of money behind you, you start thinking, I should invest in things, and you don't know you've never been in that position before, so you don't know whether to buy properties to let out, or I don't know, get your eggs in a few baskets kind of thing, or whether to just keep pushing forward with this, because this sort of freedom of lifestyle is something that I've always wanted, where you can kind of go, I've often, imagined yourself to kind of do a couple of hours work on the beach in the morning and then just toss around in some nice country. So I don't know, I'm just trying to keep building it up and
Exactly. Yeah. Well, you're in a completely different reality now, as you said. Like you're making this money, and now you're thinking about like investing and stuff. And I think that is like the ultimate path, and especially to have the free time to think about that sort of stuff and like contemplate. As you said, you got too much free time, so you're going to the gym, making money. You said you were like on holiday, paying for your holiday in like a day, and now it's just like, the realm of opportunities opens up to like start investing and building more wealth and setting yourself up, which is incredible.
Yeah, I mean, we were going to go on holiday again in August because and that's a weird thing. So you sort of think you can't go on holiday and then go on holiday again 5 weeks later, but you know, it's reality. But we we didn't in the end because the wife doesn't want to leave the dog behind. So there you go.
The dog is ruining the holidays.
So yeah,
I'm sure you could pay for a dog sitter or something.
Well, yeah, but she just doesn't like leaving it with strangers.
No, that's true.
So I've got to work out how to get rid of the dog.
No, well, it's been incredible to hear your story, and like from you sending me your most recent screenshots, now hearing that like 2 days ago you hit an even bigger day. Like it's just going to keep going up now, and you've been so consistent with it as well, which has been incredible. Like just seeing your screenshots and stuff, which I'm sure we'll be putting up on the screen. Yeah, it's been amazing. And from like going from like, you know, talking with you on like Instagram and stuff to now like finally talking with you like face to face and stuff, and like meeting you and hearing about your story and everything, it's like, it's incredible. It's very humbling for me to get on these calls and talk with yourself.
Yeah, well, you know, I'll be eternally grateful, really, you know, to all four of you behind the course, because it's literally changing people's lives.
You're running a video for 4 months, making like 100K a month, and you're like,
yeah,
you just have like total free time. It's like,
well, that's it. I mean, people just drill into you, don't they? Through school, through whatever you got to do, school, do uni, go and get a job, try and work your way up in your job, and you know, it's the wrong way to do things, really.
Yeah. Well, I think there's so many pathways and opportunities out there. It's just about finding the one that you want to do and what you want to pursue. And that's been the biggest thing for me, you know, dropping out of university and stuff. But 100%. And at the rate that you can have success as well is also, you know, generally people think, you know, you have to work a job for like 3 years, then you get like a raise, then you work another 3 years, then you get a raise. But like, you know, in the case of you and so many of our students, it's like you crack into one winning video, you're making $1,000 a day, which is, you know, 7,000 a week. Then you're making 10,000 a day, which is 70,000 a week.
Giving yourself a raise every 24 hours.
Yeah, it's incredible.
But it'd be interesting, you know, if ClickBank did a stat that showed from like December to now, it would be an interesting graph to see. Because
yeah, I want to 100%. Yeah, we're actually in the process of getting the total student sales. The previous stat that we had was 64 million generated by our students, but that was before, you know, we started with the YouTube method. When we get that stat, I reckon it'll be like over 150 mil or something generated by our students.
It'll be crazy. It'll be a crazy amount. I mean, I was looking the other day at paychecks I've had in 2022, and I think it's over 1.5 million in paychecks. So I was like, what I think I saw you on Instagram with your platinum award, and I thought, hey, where's mine? Where's my platinum award? So
I've got mine up here. You definitely have it coming. You've probably got, mine's just up there. You probably should email them and see where it is. But so you mentioned from your paychecks from 22, the amount you've been paid out by ClickBank, it was 1.5 million. That's crazy.
Yeah. And you kind of think, well, in the start of that, I was doing low days. So you think by the end of the year, because it's increased so much through the year, it carries on increasing. By the end of the year, it's going to be a crazy figure.
Exactly. Yeah. And I'm sure you'll send that to me as well, which is cool. But yeah, it's kind of crazy how far you can come, especially with this business model and like the pace that you can have success once you get the business model down and you find that winner, to then do 1.5 million in not even a whole year yet. It's not even a whole year. It's like we've got a couple months left of the year. So like it's pretty incredible.
It's like nothing else that I've ever tried, that's for sure.
Well, you know, it's been a pleasure talking with you, Rich, man. And it's good to again finally connect with you and you talk like one-on-one and discuss everything. So it's been amazing to see your journey every day. You know, every like week you're sending me your screenshots and stuff, and I'm like, yeah, Rich, you're gonna crush it. And then you keep sending me better ones, and now finally to this call. So it's been awesome speaking.
Especially now I'm sending them to your Instagram account.
Yeah, well, I did have two, but now there's a lot of
you've got a lot of scammers out there as well.
I know it's getting ridiculous, but it's been awesome talking with you, man. I hope you have a good rest of your day.
Yeah, you too. And I just want to say again, Chris, thanks for doing this course, because you know, I mean, it's not just me, is it? It'll be people all around the world that are breaking out of, you know, probably pretty dire situations that have, you know, to get to this stage in 6 months, it's you just think, what am I going to do like next year? Probably be sat here in a gold hat or something.
Next interview, you better be wearing a gold hat, like a English top hat or something, or like a Peaky Blinders hat or something like that. No, but yeah, it is good, and that's why I love doing these interviews. Like, these are the best. This is like the best sort of thing, because I can make money and stuff in a day, but having these connections and stuff and being able to talk with someone that I've been able to have like a positive impact is one of the best experiences, honestly. Yeah, it's been a pleasure talking with you.
Yeah, you too, Chris.
Awesome. See you, man. Bye.
All right, see you later. Right.